This is into the fire.
I take great pleasure in welcoming onto Into the Fire the incredible, the amazing, one of Australia's greatest ever divers, Olympic and Commonwealth Games medalist, Melissa Wu. Nice to meet you, Melissa.
Nice to meet you too.
It's my pleasure. You actually do, I think, the scariest sport in the Olympics. How does someone so small in stature do something so damn frightening? Surely twisting and turning from 10 metres above a pool is scary.
Yeah, it can be really scary. I'm pretty lucky that I started when I was really young. So when you're young, I guess you have no fear. You just kind of get up there and do it. And I've always loved diving, and it's always been a big passion of mine. So I always had my sights set on my goals and what I wanted to achieve. So having that in mind, I guess, fuels you to just want to keep going and do your best and throw yourself off the platform, even if it's a bit scary.
Yeah. Okay, so you started as a gymnast and went into diving. It seems a pretty logical progression. What made you choose diving over gymnastics? Was it the fracture you got in your arm?
I actually only did a little bit of gymnastics. So I think it was, like you said, a really good baseline. It's a good progression into diving. For me, I didn't have a huge background in it. So I kind of almost went straight into diving. And as soon as I started diving, I knew that was the sport for me. So I think it was good. I used to actually just flip around the house a lot too. So I learned a bit at gym, but I also taught myself a lot. So I was always into that kind of thing. But I think diving is a little bit more relaxed than gymnastics. Gymnastics is a little bit more regimented, but when I started diving, it was a bit more fun. And then as I got older, I took it a bit more seriously. But I think having that time when I was younger just to enjoy it was really important for me.
Yeah, it would be. Now, you won the 10-metre platform at the Australian Open Diving Championships in 2006, finishing ahead of Olympic medalists Chantal Newbery and Laudi Turkey. The win earned you a place on the Commonwealth Games team. How does a 13-year-old do this? It must have been a crazy time.
It was super crazy. I think when you're younger, you don't really think about it. I had, like I said before, my goals in mind. I talked with my coach about what we wanted to achieve that year, and he set some pretty high goals for me. So I think I was always focused on being able to please him and get the best out of myself and for him to be proud of me. So I guess I just kind of did all the steps along the way to do what he wanted me to do. And then all of a sudden, yeah, I made it onto an Australian team at 13. It was a bit of a crazy ride. It was a bit of a whirlwind, just kind of got thrown into the deep end there. But I think when you're younger and you're a bit naive, you haven't experienced much yet. So you kind of just go in not knowing anything with no pressure. And it was a really cool time because I got to just go in and dive without having any of that stress on me or any pressure from anybody else.
Yeah, it would have been a good time. Now, you were smaller and lighter than me, 28 kilos and 135 centimetres tall. That's not very big, Melissa. You weren't even tall enough to get on some of the rides at Disneyland yet. You dive into a pool 10 metres off the ground. That is crazy.
Thank you. How tall are you?
Not really sure. I think I was a bit taller.
Taller? Yeah, it was good. It was I actually remember that, not being tall enough for the rides and stuff at theme parks, but I guess when you're younger, the sky's the limit. You can do anything you put your mind to.
Yeah. Now, Melissa, I was sad to read that you weren't treated well as a youngster. You achieved a silver medal in the Commonwealth Games, but received bullying from teammates throughout. Jealousy can make people very cruel. Did this make it tough to enjoy your achievements?
Yeah, I did go through a bit of a tough period when I was younger there with some of the older athletes. I think being so much younger than a lot of them made it a little bit difficult for us to really bond as teammates. And I did struggle a bit with, some of them not being overly happy if I did well. But I think that's all part of it. And you can never control what other people think or how they react in situations. The only thing that you control is yourself. So for me, going to training every day, some days it was hard. Dealing with other people. Sometimes I had to even team up and synchronize with those people as well, which was a bit challenging. But at the end of the day, I knew what I was there for and what I wanted to achieve. So I just focused on that and focused on getting the best out of myself no matter what. And I think actually looking back now as an older athlete, it was a good thing. It made me a more resilient athlete. It gave me resilience that was different to just what I had in training. That was more of a physical kind of resilience, and this gave me that extra edge mentally, I think, to be able to cope with a lot of things that are thrown my way.
Yeah, that's a really good mindset to have about it. Because of the way you were bullied, has that made you, as you have got older, more aware of young athletes in your team?
Yeah, I think it definitely has. As an older athlete now, and especially I do synchro with younger athletes too, I like to, yeah, I guess take on that role in the team where I look out for the young ones and make sure that the things that I feel like I was missing when I was younger, just a person to guide me, to look to for advice, or just some positive reinforcement. I like to be that kind of person for them and provide that and help in a way give back to the next generation. And now that I'm a lot older, having a lot of experience, I feel like there's a lot that I can pass on. So I do it kind of informally for the team, but then I also do a little bit more of actual mentoring as well with young athletes. And that's in Australia, in other states, and some here as well. Some divers that I coach, I mentor too, which is really fun. And coaching is also a way that I like to give back to the younger generation to help them with all that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so you've excelled in both the 10-meter individual and 10-meter synchronized events. Do you have a preference?
Oh, it's hard to decide actually. When I was younger, I definitely preferred synchro for many, many years. But I think now getting older and focusing more on my individual, I actually really like that too. So I don't know if I could choose a favorite, but I think they complement each other well. So I usually enjoy it the most when I'm doing both events.
Yeah. Okay, so let me brag about you now. 1 Olympic silver medal, triple Olympian, 2 silver and 1 bronze medals in World Championships, 2 gold and 2 silvers in Commonwealth Games, 1 silver and 4 bronze World Cup medals, and selection in your 4th Olympics. You're a star, Melissa. Only that Olympic gold now to go.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it makes me sound really old now when you list all of those. They've been around for a while, but yeah, thank you so much.
That's okay. Now, you had a career-threatening back injury. Did you think it may have been the end of your diving? And did it show you how much you love the sport?
Yeah, I've had a few injuries actually. I've had mostly my back throughout my whole career has been a big issue for me, but I've also had a lot of niggles along the way. And I feel like the list just gets longer and longer the older I get. But I think definitely there's been times when I questioned whether or not that I thought that I couldn't or didn't want to keep going, but just whether or not I would be able to get back to where I was post injury. So many, many times I feel like it's a bit of a cycle. You go through that mental period where you second guess yourself a little bit. But I think I just always come back to the fact that I've got a lot of experience behind me. I've got a great work ethic. So sometimes when you can't be doing what you used to doing in your sport, all those hours, all those repetitions, I basically just focus on what I can do, what I have control of. So most of the time that's just boring rehab exercises if I'm injured, but I just focus on putting the same effort into those as what I do into all my other areas of training. And usually, sometimes it takes time, but usually that's enough to help me come back strong and puts me in a good position to be able to then build on that basis and get back to where I was before.
Yeah, that's a really good answer. Now, you won a silver medal at the Olympics in Beijing in 2008. That must have been the greatest sporting moment of your life. How amazing was that? And was there a little part of you that wishes it was the Aussie anthem being played? But don't get me wrong, silver medal is unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was definitely, it's hard to top a silver medal at the Olympics. So that would definitely be a highlight of my career, especially being so young when I did it. That was my first Olympics. So this first Olympics always has a special place in your heart. And then to be able to also medal at that Games was really special. It would have been great to hear an Aussie anthem that Games, but in our sport and diving, the Chinese are very difficult to beat. So even though we won the silver, we were pretty happy with our performance that day. And yeah, Olympic medal is no easy feat. I've only got one, so it just gives me that drive to keep working towards that goal in the future.
And I'm sure you will. So, what was the Olympics like? And did you love the village? Endless food and lots of stars must have been very cool.
Yeah, the village is really, really cool. Everyone always says, "Oh, it's really cool," and then it is. It's as cool as everybody says it is. So there's a big food hall and there's just like whatever you want. It's open 24 hours. So the hardest part of going to Olympics is that you've put in all the work and then you've got to go there and you're like, control yourself, don't eat all the food. I've got an event to prepare for. But yeah, back, especially I think now not anymore, but the first few games I went to, there was like a McDonald's like within that big food hall, and it's just free McDonald's, endless free McDonald's. Yeah, that's pretty hard to resist when you're there, I guess, as an athlete. You got to keep your eye on the goals. But yeah, it's pretty cool. There's also big like games rooms, it's like going to a big arcade, and there's all these games, but you don't have to pay for them. Everything's free as well. And you go and, yeah, any kind of games, all the hoops and that kind of thing, which is really cool. And even just there's vending machines everywhere, and you get like a little tag that you basically just like scan it on the vending machine, and any drink you want comes out. It's all free. It's really cool. And then they have like a little international zone that's got things like hairdressers and usually post office and things like that in there. So it's like a cool little hub, a little town that everybody lives in, but it's just athletes everywhere. And you do sometimes get to see some famous athletes, but the problem is they're too famous even for the athletes in the village. So every time they move around, there's like a swarm of athletes around them trying to get a photo. It's pretty funny. All the paparazzi, but the paparazzi are like Olympians as well, which is pretty funny. But yeah, it's a really, really cool experience. It's something you can't really describe until you've done it. But for me, when I went to my first games, I think that was just the coolest part, was getting to all that. And the uniform, getting a uniform as well, is really cool. When you go there, you basically there's like a little Aussie headquarters, and they give you your uniform when you get there, and it's just bags of uniform. It's like Christmas, but it's cool because you've earned it. So you've earned the chance to wear the green and gold, and it's a really cool experience.
Yeah, it sounds so cool. Well, Melissa, you're no longer Australia's smallest ever diver. Do we now have a 10-year-old diving? Just kidding. You now have a new diving partner, Teju Williamson. It must be great to have someone the same height for synchronized diving, I'm presuming, and easier to synchronize with, I would think.
Yeah, I think definitely synchro is easier the closer you are in height. It is hard because I am so small, having someone that's the same height as me. I've had a few partners now, so actually I'm not diving with Teju anymore because she's retired from diving. I think I've even had another maybe 2 since then. So it's quite difficult in diving. We don't have a huge depth in Australia, so we don't have a lot of divers, and we're all kind of spread across different states as well. So the challenge now with COVID is that if we have any interstate partnerships, we haven't been able to train together. So now, assuming everything goes ahead as planned this year, we need to figure out for synchro how we're going to make that work with teams, with teams in different states across borders. So that's something that's a bit more challenging this year. But yeah, got to find someone the same height as me.
Yeah, you do. You have the who's who of sport in your family. The younger brother Josh and younger sister Madeline represented Australia at 2016 World Junior Weightlifting Championships. Rugby sevens player James Standard, and hurdler and now bobsledder Jana Pittman is your second cousin. I bet your Christmas parties have a lot of stories.
Yeah, we come from a pretty sporty background. It's really cool having family members at that high level to be able to, I guess, bond with and have that support network as well. I'm really close with my brother and sister, so having that and growing up with a family that not only supports me but also has been through it and gets it has been very it's been amazing. I don't think I would have been able to get to where I was without my family. So having that support behind me makes a big difference. And even days when you come home and you haven't had the best session, but if my brother or sister have had a really good session, that's really exciting, kind of makes me happy. And then likewise, sometimes it's good to give them advice or give them a little pick me up when they're down. But yeah, family for me is really important. So having that is the best thing ever.
Yeah, family is really important. Couple of quick questions to finish. Who's the most well-known sports person you know well?
Oh, that is a good question, actually. I don't know. We don't get to I guess cross paths with athletes in other sports that often. I suppose because of social media now, it makes it a bit easier to have access to different athletes. So I think in general, there's a few athletes we comment on each other's things sometimes and like it, but yeah, I don't really get to hang out with lots of other athletes or anything in other sports.
Okay. Have you ever been scared when diving?
Yes, all the time. Yeah, I think it's more scary the older I get, but I think in diving it's really important to have that fear, because the fear gives you a bit of a respect for what you're doing. It's a little reminder that, okay, this can be a little bit dangerous. Make sure you're concentrating, make sure you're focused, but I think the fear never goes away.
Yeah. Are you better at skateboarding or Sudoku puzzles?
Oh, probably Sudoku. I used to skateboard when I was younger. I wasn't very good though. And then as I got older, I just stopped because I'm not very good. But Sudoku I actually do between my dives and competitions though.
Yeah, sounds nice. How good are you on the drums?
I used to play a little bit. I'm not very good anymore. I when I moved to Sydney, I left my drum kit in Brisbane, so haven't played drums for many, many years now, but it's something I love. I'd love to do again in the future.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to give you something that I'm not sure how you will ever use it, but it would be cool. Maybe do it as the camera goes on you, and you exit the pool after a big dive. Don't do it in the water. I don't want someone so cool drowning on my celebration. But if you ever get a chance to enjoy a celebration pose, I have it for you. It's the Into the Fire.
I love that. I'll have to use that one.
Do you want to give it a try?
Show it to me one more time, please.
Out and
across.
yes,
That's
that's
it.
nice.
Nailed it. What do you score me out of 10?
Well, have to be a 9. You might need to keep practicing a little bit.
Oh, solid. Yeah, I'll keep practicing that one.
I can't thank you enough, Melissa, for chatting to me today. You're as nice person as you are champion of your sport. Good luck in the Tokyo Olympics and enjoy your fourth Olympics, and I hope you get that gold.
Thanks, Liam. Keep up the amazing work with the interviews.
It's been great chatting.